हरि ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। चिन्मय उद्घोष reading. Goswami Tulsidas ji wrote, Namo Rama Ho Kalpataru Kalyana Nivasu Jo Sumedat Bhayamagate Tulsi Dasu. Born as Ramagola in the Awadh region of Uttar Pradesh, Goswami Tulsidas lived in the 16th century and popularized the Ramayana in Awadhi language through the Ramcharitamanas, seen as the reincarnation of Valmiki. His very first word uttered were Ram. Through Tulsidas-ji's devout works and simple philosophy, Hinduism was reborn in the Mughal era. Tulsidas Jayanti falls on Shukla Paksha Saptami of Shravan month, this year on 31st July. Editor's note. Dear reader, in May this year, the All India Chinmaya Yuva Kendra had the biennial national convention. Be there at Chinmaya Vibhuti in Pune. It was a congregation of great inspiration, vigor and enthusiasm. Along with our spiritual mentors, there was a host of speakers and chic alumni also who shared valuable wisdom with the chicks. And yes, there were enough reasons to celebrate and regale through the cultural performances and team activities. Check the colorful report to live through the camp's happenings. Quite contrastingly, June began with a mishap that has left the whole world in shock and sorrow. The crash of the Air India flight in Gujarat is a sharp reminder of how unpredictable life is. We extend our prayers and condolences to all the victims of their families. We hope that the fact-finding mission enables further safety in the aviation industry. Do go through our stories this month to find quiet glimmers of hope. Chic News. Be there, Chic National Youth Convention 2025. Live life well, embodiment of impartiality. Let us go, slow revelations in the wild. Figure it out, elbow room, names of Goddess Lakshmi. Light-hearted, what's up, Shankar Uvacha, TITI, destiny, root to our roots, prayer, wise nuggets. Prayers. Anantam Vasukim Sheyasham Padmanabhan Chakambalam Shankhapalam Dhartarashtram Takshakam Kaliyantakam Etani Navanamani Naganam Chamahatmanam Sayankale Patal Nityam Pratak तस्य विषभयं नास्ति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत्. श्रीनाम नवनाथनाम स्तोत्रम. Dhartarashtra, Takshaka and Kaliya are the names of the 9 exalted Nagas. Those who chant their name reverentially invoking their grace every evening and especially early in the morning. We'll have no reason to fear poison. Moreover, they will attain success in all endeavors. Nag Panchami is on 29th July 2025. Mind can it be tamed by Swami Swarupananda? Develop contentment. Second, if you remain aware of your good fortune and hold on to the belief that everything that happens is for the best, you will never feel deprived and depressed, for you will simply never have any reason to feel that way. Make it a daily habit to write down the five things for which you feel grateful during the day. They could be objects or occurrences, ideas or institutions, big or small, past or present. And they don't have to happen solely to you. The mere fact that you have access to those blessings, for instance, the realization that you live in a city which adequate law and order, or in an area where there are such things as weather warning systems that allow you to stock up and prepare for an approaching storm, commercial airlines that enable you to reach a critically ill relative in the nick of time, anesthesia that helps you undergo a much needed surgical procedure that would otherwise entail indescribable agonizing pain, or even something as mundane as a refrigerator that makes it possible for you to store your favorite leftover food for consumption again later. The list is endless. Humans have walked the earth for thousands of years, and yet almost all the blessings we take for granted today did not exist until as recently as 50 or 100 years ago. How truly fortunate we are. You have got the point. By Aditya Divakar Vidya. Sustain our planet we call home. Brushes. Over 3.6 billion plastic toothbrushes are disposed of annually, and electric toothbrushes are no better. The simplest alternative is a bamboo toothbrush that uses compostable wood and recyclable nylon. But the most effective one is a plastic toothbrush with a reusable head. For all the hygiene freaks out there, you only need to change the head of a toothbrush, not the body. So yes, in this case, the best alternative to plastic is plastic. Second hand isn't passe. Drop the stigma around buying second hand, because otherwise we are killing animals and fish in the millions with hundreds of thrift stores and second hand retailers opening around the country. Options abound for anybody willing to give a second life to an otherwise useless product. Fill your bottles, not landfills. Almost a million plastic bottles are bought every single minute. That means in a single day 1.5 billion plastic bottles find their way into customers' hands and ultimately into the landfill of, or worse, the oceans. Ditch the plastic bottle and take your personal bottle to one of thousands of refill stations nearby. From water to coffee or even orange juice, there's always a supplier ready to refill. We just have to look hard enough. Bulk is better, always better. Buying goods in bulk, especially organic produce, reduces the requirement for transaction and packing, transportation and packing. Especially, the more you buy, the fewer the number of bags you need, and the fewer the trips to the supermarket. By planning out your requirements in the long term, you save on money, time, and of course the environment. Next article, Read and Live Fully with Swami Chinmaya, reading How to Know Our Swadharma Duty. When we are born, we bring with us some tendencies and inclinations, vasanas, from the past, and these are the primary factors for our choices and actions, achievements and losses in life. One's duty must spring from one's own character, swabhava. In other words, the superficial must reflect the profundity in us. One is always able to intuitively sense what sort of a life one should choose by selecting a path of action according to one's character and living up to it in a spirit of dedication. One slowly exhausts the vasanas inherent in the personality. Thus, the heavy burden gets lighter and lighter. On the other hand, in working against one's inborn tendencies, life becomes a burden and all cheer and joy vanish. To act against the grain of one's own vasanas would be performing contra the action paradharma. Duties and activities fall under the well recognized four ancient categories: studies and allied fields catering to the studious intellects, the Brahmanas; power, politics, leadership, and so on, to satisfy those who born with a flair for leadership, the Kshatriyas; commercial minded businessmen, the Vaishyas; and who dedicated those dedicated to the service of mankind, the Shudras. It now becomes our responsibility to conduct an inquiry into ourselves and ascertain to what type we belong and where our deeper interest lies. When I have leadership qualities, the best way of life for me would be to pursue the leadership of the society rather than suffer as a servant. If I am commercial minded, business would be my chosen vocation. Then the spirit of service dominates my mental makeup. I can find happiness and satisfaction only in service. Above all, if I am spiritually inclined, it is up to me to pursue that tendency and walk the path toward my own spiritual unfoldment. Having chosen the field, it is up to us to pursue it in a spirit of dedication and reap the harvest of outer success in life and abiding peace within. Depending on whether you can work in cooperation or not, you can make heaven on earth or a hell of heaven. Ram, the man of Treta Yuga. Next article. A CV publication, Chinmaya Udghosh publication. Jatayu Moksha. As Ravan abducts Sita, she cries out for help in desperation to the trees, rivers, and mountains. A vulture named Jatayu wakes up from his slumber on hearing her cries and rushes to investigate. Jatayu is a strong and valiant bird, but he knows the limitations of his combative skills when faced with a foe like Ravan. Nonetheless, he decides to challenge Ravan even if his own purpose is to delay him from taking Sita away. The brave vulture tries to reason with Ravan against his evil actions. He admonishes Ravan and narrates the story of Sri Ram's glory, highlighting his great standing and fearless prowess. He warns Ravan that by abducting Sita, he is inviting his own destruction, but his reasoning yields little effect as the deluded Ravan, overcome by lust, treats Jatayu's words with disdain and clashes with him in a ferocious duel. The gallant bird inflicts many wounds on the demon king, swooping down and tearing out chunks of his flesh. Despite Ravan firing at the courageous Rajatayu, the vulture remains undeterred and manages to break Ravan's pearl-studded bow, smashes his chariot, and knocks down his canopy. Ravan falls to the ground slightly jaded, but with anger seeping through his veins. He draws his sword and with mighty swings slices off Jatayu's wings and feet. Jatayu, happy with his swordmanship, seizes Sita again and makes good his escape, leaving Jatayu lying in a pool of blood with the little that remains of his body. Jatayu holds on to his life until he is able to pass on the message of Sita's abduction to Lord Rama. Once Sri Rama finds him, Jatayu narrates all that has happened and dies in Sri Ram's presence. Sri Ram is appreciative of his efforts but dejected at the loss of his friend. He cremates the great bird, and continues with his search. In the life fight for a noble cause, truth must triumph, even if the sacrifice is high and the results are seen only later. Being an instrument in serving a righteous cause is important. Jatayu teaches us that might is not right, but being right is indeed might. When we are faced with a situation in which there is a clash between dharma and adharma, staying neutral equates to supporting adharma. The wise Jatayu knew this and acted in line with dharma. This is 46th episode of 46th name of Sri Ram. Vruddhadipagatidayak Ram. Vruddhadipagatidayak Ram. Ram, who bestowed upon the king of vultures, Jatayu, the highest state. Next article, Career and You by Jyotika Sehra. Work like Arjun, chill like Krishna. In the age of hustle culture, where calendars are packed and inboxes are exploding, Many young professionals are burning out faster than a Diwali sparkler. But here's the plot twist. Ancient Hindu wisdom already figured out the cheat codes for a meaningful, balanced, and powerful life. Centuries before the first office cubicle existed, ready to infuse your work life with a little Vedic wisdom and daisy soul. Let us dive into how Hindu spirituality can make your 9 to 5 time, time dharmic and less dramatic. 1. Channel your inner Arjun, know your dharma. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun freaks out right before a big battle. Relatable, right? Like before your first client pitch. But Sri Krishna reminds him of his dharma, his duty, his path. Lesson: your job isn't just a job, it's a chance to live your purpose. Whether you are a coder, a creator, or a chai startup founder, align your career with something that feels meaningful to you and to the world. Second, work without the what ifs. Hello, Nishkam Karma. Even refresh your inbox every 10 seconds after sending a proposal. Ever refresh your box every 10 seconds after sending a proposal. Hindu philosophy calls for Nishkam Karma, action without attachment to results. Do your best, send the email, close the laptop, let go of the outcome. Stressing about things you can't control. That's not spiritual, that's just bad Wi Fi for the soul. Third, start up with a sankalpa. Intention, not just coffee. In Hindu culture, every ritual begins with a sankalpa, a heartfelt intention. Try starting your workday the same way. Instead of diving straight into chaos, take 1 minute to set an intention. I will bring clarity today. I will not lose it in the team meeting. I will uplift someone, even if it's just myself. Trust us, it hits differently. 4. Take breaks like a yogi, not a zombie. Heard of pranayam? It's breath work that helps yogis stay calm, alert, and not murderous during rush hour. Bring that energy into your work breaks. Instead of doom scrolling, take 3 deep breaths or do a mini stretch. Bonus points if you whisper Om and confuse your co-workers or cats. 5. Offer it up, make your work a puja. In Hinduism, the simplest acts, lighting a lamp or serving food, can be sacred when done with devotion. What if you treated your work the same way? Answering emails, making presentations, talking to clients. Do it, do it with full presence, like it's an offering. That mindset transforms even mundane tasks into meaningful acts. Ancient wisdom, modern you. Bringing Hindu spirituality into work doesn't necessarily mean chanting mantras in the Zoom room unless you want to. It means living with purpose, acting with detachment, and keeping your inner peace while the world spins like a fidget spinner. So go ahead, work like Arjun, chill like Krishna, and slay like Durga when needed. Because in the grand game of karma, how you play matters more than winning. Mindful Whispers by K.S. Yashaswini. This world a colorful kaleidoscope. Sometimes my Instagram algorithm throws up the most wonderful content away from the brain rot and doomsday reels. I follow a few painters and artists, so every now and then an art related post or video comes up. One such 2-minute video showed how a painter approached the subject of a green glass vase as a still painting, while overtly it was a vase kept on a table, reflecting some light. The shades were the bottle with different shades of grey, following by blue, green, black, and white. What must have been a few hours worth of painting was reduced to a time lapse video of 90 seconds. I wouldn't have thought that grey could have been the base for a green versus glassy effect. So I immediately hit and videos and matching seemingly unrelated colors to land up with the exact image as the original. This could have been a dash of purple to someone's brown hair, a big and so on. I was stunned. I shared these videos with an artist friend who told me about color theory. To summarize it crudely, it gives us an idea of primary, secondary, tertiary colors and what complements one another. But to delve deeply into it is to see a fascinating world where the language is color and the structure is design. This friend of mine revealed to me how her very first art class in her graduate school, she was asked to paint the tree outside their classroom. Like most of us, she immediately went for the solid brown trunk and a green canopy. Her professor watched her the entire time, and once she completed the piece, asked her to go out and see the tree for herself. Ashamed by what she saw, my friends reported that the tree was actually a dark shade of grey, and the leaves were adorned with white lines instead of the regular green. She questioned, do we even see the world as it is? Something shifted in me after this conversation with her. How often do we see something and presume it to be what we want it to be, rather than see it for what actually is? The color theory aside, can we and refocus, see the color light hits the objects on our desk? Next article, Beyond the Goal by S. Rana Pratap. Catch them young. Many of you must have heard about Vaibhav Suryavamshi by now. If not, let me forewarn you. You are going to hear his name a lot more in the years to come. He is just 14, yes, 14, and he is already made history at the youngest debutant in IPL 2025, playing for the Rajasthan Royals team. When he stepped onto that pitch, he didn't just walk in, he arrived. First ball, six, against a seasoned international bowler, Shardul Thakur. You could almost hear the collective gasp from every cricket fan watching. Why is this story important now? Because Vaibhav's story is not just about cricket, it's about potential. It's about what happens when young people are guided, supported, and believed in. And it's also a beautiful example of what Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda meant when he said, catch them young. Gurudev wasn't talking about cricket or sport per se, he was talking about life, how we must nurture values, discipline, and strength in our youth from an early age, because those early years are everything. That's when the roots grow deep. Vaibhav's roots are strong. His father, a club level cricketer in Bihar, sold his land so that his son could train. Think about that sacrifice for a second. It doesn't just fund training, it builds character, and Vaibhav's performances reflect it. He smashed an unbelievable 101 of 38 balls in just his third IPL match, which made him the youngest centurion in IPL history. And not just that, his strike rate, his sixes, the fearless attitude, all of it left even veteran players stunned. But there's the thing, and I want you to take this in. Success is amazing, but staying grounded is essential. We have seen many young stars born out because sure that young people grow up with clarity in thought and purpose in action. Vaibhav is still at the beginning of his journey. He is shown the world what's possible when youth meets preparation and the right support. But now, more than ever, he and others like him need guidance to stay true to their path. In a cricket crazy nation like India, a prodigal talent such as Vaibhav occurs once every decade. But we have observed that lack of ground support, poor performance, or consistency issues in the domestic arena, disciplinary issues, and physical injuries fail to create heroes out of such youngsters. In India, in the past 30 years, we have seen breakout stars like Unmukta Chand, Prithvi Shaw, and Vinod Kamble struggle with these issues. Across the world, there are even more examples such as Hassan Raja and Will Pukowski. Even after potential is identified, a lot has to go into harnessing the dynamism in that talent. With a supporting ecosystem of coaches, parents, teammates, and administrators, the player too has to put in necessary efforts, turn up every day for training, sacrifice the lures of youth, and maintain their physical and mental health to achieve immortal glory. Let us hope that Vaibhav Suryavanshi becomes one such trailblazer for India. Next, Figure It Out by Disha Vaswani, Elbow Room. What's Up by Pankaj Lohia. Neurological Enchantments 1. The last decade has seen huge developments in the field of healthcare and medical science. One particularly interesting field is neurology. Neurological enhancement refers to the use of advanced technologies to improve human cognitive abilities by directly interacting with the brain. This field primarily involves brain machine interfaces (BMI) brain machine interfaces that can read brain activity and increasingly write or send signals back to the brain, creating bidirectional communication system. Such interfaces aim to provide what is called brain transparency, allowing for enhanced control, cognition, and potentially recovery from neurological impairments. Recent breakthroughs include the development of two-way adapting interfaces, brain-computer interfaces (BCI), and that not only decode brain signals but also provide real-time feedback to the brain, significantly boosting communication efficiency and reducing energy consumption. These systems enable more complex brain controlled tasks such as hands-free drone operation and hold promise for restoring lost abilities in patients with brain damage. शंकर उवाच प्रश्न का कल्पलता लोके उत्तर सत्शिष्यायार्पिता विद्या. What is the great and worthy kalpalata charity in this world? Knowledge given to a worthy student is great charity. Kalpalata is a creeper that is equivalent to the kalpavruksha. It is listed as one of the 16 great charities. Who is there to take up my duties? Asked the setting sun. The world remained dark and silent. With joined palms, said the earthen land, I will do what I can, my master, said Rabindranath Tagore. Guru Purnima, 10th July 2025. Wise Nuggets. तिले तैलं गवीक्षीणं काष्ठे पावकम्. Fourth largest eternal population that refused population that refused median age is around 29. But level innovation and centuries old spirituality and IMF because now carries real weight development. It also gives India the the leverage to push for reform. This is not just about GDP. This is about global standing, pride, and potential. Being the world's fourth largest economy is also a powerful reminder of Bharat's status as Vishwabandhu, the Reserve Bank of India projects a strong 6.5 growth for 2025-26. That's steady and promising. But now, more than ever, we need to channel this momentum. For students, it is time to upskill, for professionals to innovate and lead, for voters to choose wisely, for entrepreneurs to build boldly, and for all of us to believe in Bharat. This is not just India 2025, this is Bharat 2.0, a nation that codes and chants, meditates and manufactures, worships and wins, and its people who always put India first. Next article, Between the Lines by Aishwarya Nair. Beyond workouts, how posture shapes health and well being. In today's fast paced world, where people invest heavily in workouts, diets, and advanced fitness routines, one fundamental aspect of well being is often ignored: posture. Dr. Renu Mathani, in her insightful book, The Power of Posture, Mindful Alignment for a Pain Free Life, sheds light on the crucial role that proper posture plays in maintaining overall health and preventing chronic pain. This book is particularly essential for youth who, due to their sedentary lifestyles, are at risk of developing long term musculoskeletal issues. By understanding and adopting the right postures at an early stage, they can avoid numerous health problems in the future. Posture, the overlooked foundation of well being. The book highlights that good posture is not merely about standing straight, it is about aligning the body correctly to function optimally. Lord Krishna's words in the Bhagavad Gita, neck and the spine in one line, emphasize the importance of proper posture. Dr. Mathani expands on this ancient wisdom by explaining how alignment influences not only physical health but also mental clarity, confidence, and overall energy levels. Many ailments such as neck pain, upper back soreness, migraines, and even general irritability stem from poor posture. Despite ergonomic advancements like specialized chairs, the modern sedentary lifestyle contributes to physical deterioration. As Alfred North Whitehead remarked, it requires a very unusual mind to undertake the analysis of the obvious. And this book does precisely that by drawing attention to something we often take for granted, our posture. Understand have at least have at least this advantage that they force us to think. Chronic pain should serve as a wake up call, pushing us to correct our habits rather than masking the symptoms. Addressing each joint, a holistic approach. Dr. Mathani takes a joint by joint approach to posture correction, offering insights and corrective measures for each body part. One compelling example is her explanation of spinal posture. Since back pain is so common, she first provides a fundamental understanding of spinal structure to help readers comprehend the root causes and solutions. She introduces self how these pains increase, how we perform movements is more important than simply doing them. She also provides illustrations to help readers check their own postures and make necessary adjustments. Posture in everyday life, the small thing that matter, a crucial to correct them with the help of illustrations, readers can better understand their own postural tendencies and make immediate improvements. Conclusion. The power of awareness. At its core, the power of posture is about cultivating awareness. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, mindfulness is the miracle by which we master and restore ourselves. This book invites readers to practice mindfulness in a moment. By embracing Dr. Mathani's principles, individuals can prevent pain, enhance their physical capabilities, and lead healthier lives. This book is especially relevant for today's youth who, if they understand and implement these principles early on, can prevent a lifetime of chronic pain and postural issues. Awareness, balance, and core strength are not just words, they are the keys to a pain free, healthier future. Check News by Adityan Divakar Vidya, Check, Chinmaya Kendra, CIRS, Chinmay International Residential School, We There, Czech National Youth Convention 2025. As they stood in the vast expanse of Sundarangan in Chinmay Vibhuti, saluting the soaring Chinmay Yuva Kendra flag on the bright morning of 28th May 2025, the 750 strong crowd from 22 states across Bharat would have hardly expected the tumultuous roar of events, memories, and learnings that were to transform them in the 4 days to come. All they knew was that they were here for a single crystal clear purpose, to be there for harnessing youth potential. Things got off to a speedy start. Literally, as the campers raced down the paved slopes from the Pranav Ganesh Mandir and right into Sudharma Auditorium for the inauguration. Swami Anukulananda, the national convener of All India Chinmay Yuva Kendra, AI Chick, said the president with an iron message, break the limits, not the rules. Pujya Swami Swarupananda, the global head of Chinmay Mission and chairman of AICHYK, delivered an endearing yet powerfully poignant lecture on Storm to Perform, drawing from the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita to remind the campers of their latent potential, ever infinite yet waiting to be discovered. Pujya Swamiji's classes were a staple in the mornings and they became a camp favorite in no time. From stories to stripe, stripe and the pillar of caterpillars to reading of love letters. The audience roared in laughter as he seamlessly wove together ancient wisdom and his signature humor. Five shlokas of the Gita, the syllabus for the camp, became practically engraved in their minds as they chanted it day in and day out, reveling in its higher meaning. Next, the campers found themselves pulled away from the comfort of their friend zones and thrown into unfamiliar waters, with every face as alien as the next. Named after the regiments of the Indian Army, the groups found themselves bellowing their war cries before they even knew each other's names. These groups, once only a band of strangers, evolved over the camp to become a close knit community, united by the Sikh cause. From exhilarating games to quiet reflection sessions, from heated discussions to friendly banter, these groups became central to learnings and growth powered by their own energy and an enthusiastic cohort of mentors. The most exciting part of the camp was in the afternoon's guest lectures. From a retired major in the Indian Army to the lead strength and conditioning coach of the Indian cricket team, these speakers from all parts of Bharat brought unparalleled expertise right to the campus. There were two Padma Shri awardees too, Major Madhan Kumar led the charge, painting the unbridled success of Operation Sindoor with cold facts and colder punchlines. The fire of patriotism was carried forward by Pujya Swami Mitrananda, National Advisor to AI. Swamiji opened the audience's eye to the 2.5 war, the war within Bharat's borders, a war that they were all part of, the war of narratives. Then they got to hear from Dr. Prahlad Ramarao, the director of the Defense Research and Defense Laboratory, and the man behind the Akash defense systems, the Agni and BrahMos missiles. Dr. Archana Prasad and Dr. Uma Shankar, two giants in the field of education, threw light on the inner workings of the NEP and the power of education as a tool to harness youth potential. Then came several beacons of that very potential from within the Yuva Kendra itself. Shri Soham Desai, lead SNC coach of the Indian cricket team. Srimati Rohini Manohar, founder of the Chennai Yoga Studio. Shri Prasad Devade, founder director of ZBAC, and Shri Madan Mohan, CEO Dena Band Pollux, sharing their heartfelt personal journeys and struggles to the top. They served as relatable and reachable inspiration to the audience. Closing this wondrous line of speakers was Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, the foremost authority on Chanakya in modern times. Presentations on the Cord Fellowship, the Youth Empowerment Program, the DIY Challenge, and the Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith deemed to be university offered avenues and opportunities to harness the channelize each one's potential. Watching Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda's biopic on a quest, experiencing the Chinmaya Jivan Darshan, the exhibition on Swami Chinmayananda's vision, and traversing the paths of the Swanubhuti Vatika, the self realization park at Chinmaya Vibhuti provided unique, unique experiences to each participant. An evening descended, bhajans echoed across the auditorium walls as campers got off their seats and onto the aisles to revel in divine melodies. The twin mega shows Surya 108 by Chick Kadapa and Chandra 108 by Chick Chennai, displaying meticulous practice of brilliant execution, hammered the Czech standards loud and clear into every youngster in the audience. The third evening brought a new flavor to the convention, one that audience was sure not to forget. The Chinmay Vishwavidyapit contingent's spectacular metaphorical dance on Operation Sindoor to the CIRS choir's soulful renditions, the dances of Draupadi and Krishna, and the folk representatives by Chinmaya Kendra Noida. Following that was the procession of Pujya Gurudev's Padukas, with everyone dancing and reveling in the procession to the tune of the Maharashtrian Dhol Tasha. Even before we could realize it, the valedictory had arrived with an inspiring message. This is only the beginning, and hopeful goodbyes. The participants left carrying the spirit of Chick in their hearts, forever changed by their experiences and with memories of a lifetime. Next article, Live Life Well by K.S. Yashaswini, Embodiment of Impartiality. This series unravels the dharmic dialogue between Narad Muni and Raja Yudhishthir in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata. Part 22 saw how a good leader must practice empathy. Part 23 follows. Incidentally, when we discussed how leaders must practice empathy towards their rivals and especially their families, the Indian Armed Forces put the quality on display for the whole world to witness. While the Indian Air Force was precise in their attack on terrorist and air bases in Pakistan in Operation Sindoor, they took utmost care to ensure there was minimal harm to any civilian property. Even though Pakistan continued to try to launch drone attacks on our civilian space, including temples and gurudwaras, such restraint was indeed magnanimity and fine leadership on India's part. Moving on, Narad Muni gently asks Raja Yudhishthir, O Lord of the earth, do people of all the worlds consider you an embodiment of impartiality? Can they come to you fearlessly as if you are their mother and father? It seems obvious that any king or leader should function without any bias, but it is such an undeterred such an underrated and rare quality to find amongst the CEOs, politicians, or other administrators today. We could probably take a leaf out of the life of a great Chola king, Elalan, who lived between 205 to 161 BCE in modern day Tamil Nadu, according to legend, as recounted in Shilapatikaram and Periya Puranam. The Chola king had a bell installed outside his palace. Anyone seeking justice could ring the bell, and the king would personally hear the grievance. One day, a cow rang the bell, and the king came out to investigate. He learned that his son had accidentally killed the cow's calf while riding his chariot. Upholding his principle that justice must be equal for all, the king made the painful decision to punish his son in the same manner by killing him with a chariot. To provide justice to the cow, Elalan killed his own son Vidhi Vidangan under the chariot as punishment. That is, Elalan made himself suffer as much as the cow. This act of supreme justice earned him eternal fame and the title Manuniti Cholan, meaning the Chola who followed Manu's laws. Moved by his commitment to justice and impartial rule, it is said that Lord Shiva blessed the king and brought both the calf and the prince back to life. In an age where we see nepotism ruling in every field, be it arts, cinema, politics, business, or sports, the question of impartial decision making becomes pertinent. While a Manuniti Cholan may not be walking in our midst, how can a leader ensure that he or she is seen as impartial or as an altruist? Whenever we find ourselves in a position of power, we have to consistently make decisions that lead to a larger good. This principle has to be followed even if one's personal interests are at stake. At a micro level, when it comes to assessing a team's performance, we must not have any favoritism. When it comes to resolving a conflict at home, we must be able to hear both sides patiently and do what is right. This is possible only if we detach ourselves from the narrow identity as someone's brother, sister, friend, parent, spouse, etc. While this may be really difficult, it may be an easier practice to see ourselves as someone else's brother, sister, parent, or friend to understand what troubles they might be facing from such a detached and objective perspective. Weighing the pros and cons, it will always be easy to follow the dharma of that role. We have seen repeated examples of this from the scriptures. Ram, Krishna, Ahilyabai Holkar, and Shivaji Maharaj, where the person in question willingly sacrificed the lower for the higher. Only such a leader can provide a just and impartial rule who can be approached akin to one's own mother or father. Next article, let us go by Rohini Manohar. Slow revelations in the wild. Sometimes the most unforgettable journeys begin with no expectations, just a quiet desire to pause. When I planned a surprise trip to Bandipur for my husband's birthday, I didn't have too many expectations. We both longed for a little quiet time in the wilderness, away from deadlines, screens, and the ever growing noise of city life. What we found instead was a story, one that would stay with us for years. We stayed at a place called Dhole's Den, an eco-conscious homestay tucked into the borderlands of the Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Unlike resorts that promise luxury in the wild, this one offered something rarer, humility in the wild. Let's, it's the kind of place that doesn't try to overpower the forest but listens to it instead. The dhole is the name given to the wild Indian dog. This animal often goes unnoticed and is usually overshadowed by tigers, elephants, and other wild animals. The dhole is loyal, highly intelligent, and tragically endangered. The people at Dhole's Den have made it their mission to raise these ancient Tamil hounds of the foreign as the cooler option. Sai. We went on two safaris whilst we stayed there. Each was marked by early morning wake ups and hopeful hearts. The jungle was peaceful, almost too peaceful. We spotted gentle herds of spotted deer, a long mongoose darting through the bushes, proud peacocks dancing in the distance, and a couple of elephants quietly grazing in the shadows. But there were no big cats, no dramatic sightings. A little part of us felt that familiar tourist twinge of disappointment had we missed the magic. But nature, as we soon learned, has a sense of humor and timing. On the drive back to Chennai, winding through the border roads of the forest, something extraordinary happened. Just as we were settling into the rhythm of the highway, we caught a glimpse of movement through the trees, a black bear ambling across the road entirely unaware of our awe. A few kilometers later, a wild goat stood majestic and unbothered as if carved from stone. Gaurs. And then, just when the forest was beginning to fade behind us, a tiger emerged. Fluid and magnificent, she looked at us for a brief second, and before I could get my phone to take a picture, it dashed across. There were no other vehicles, no cameras, just us, the road, and the wild, showing up in its own time. We were stunned into silence. All the anticipation of the previous days melted away into that one pure fleeting moment. It felt as though the jungle had waited to show itself only when we stopped asking. That perhaps is the real lesson of Bandipur. The wild is not a performance, it doesn't appear on schedule. It reveals itself to those who are willing to wait, to watch, and most importantly, to listen. As we drove home, I found myself thinking back to the Chippy Paris, adolescent, noble, overlooked, deeply rooted in this land, and yet largely forgotten. Their story is India's story too. In our rush toward modernity, how much have we left behind, and how much of it, if we simply paused to notice, still waits patiently for us to remember? Our trip to Bandipur was meant to be a quick escape, a birthday surprise, a change of scenery, but it became something deeper, a slow unfolding of stillness, a reconnection with what's wild and worthy, and a reminder that sometimes the forest doesn't show you what you came looking for. It shows you what you didn't know you needed. Next, Destiny by Rukma Sadekar. Alice, March 21 to April 2019. When our goal of life is high, the mundane, petty things of life don't affect us, and they just cease to have an effect because our mind and sight is set on something much higher. If every small thing upset you, it's time you found a lofty goal for yourself. April, Taurus, April 20 to May 20. It is common knowledge that the mind and body are intricately connected. When the mind is stressed, there is rigidity in the body, breathlessness, change in blood pressure, etc. Besides working on the mind, it is important to exercise. Exercise helps in de stressing and relaxing the mind. Gemini, May 21 to June 21. Incorporate this into your monthly routine. Once a month, spend a few gadget free day. Once a month, spend a few gadget free day, or at least a gadget free hours. Alternatively, spend 15 minutes of no screen time every morning. Cutting off from gadgets gives us more time for essentials, increases our focus, and allows us to be in the present. Cancer, June 22 to July 22. There is comfort in routine, but it's only when we break out of our routine that our mind expands and we grow. Take a day to break out of your routine. Eat something new for breakfast. Take a different route to college. Wear something you usually don't. Sleep on the other side of the bed. Most importantly, enjoy the experience. Leo, July 23 to August 22. Snacking between meals is not harmful provided the snack itself is healthy. Roasted chana, boiled groundnuts, chickpea made with jaggery, puffed rice chat with sprouts and pomegranate. A fruit, a handful of dry fruits. The options are many. Virgo, August 23 to September 22. True prayer is not begging, it is about connecting with God, the silence within. Chanting a name or mantra in a few moments of quietude reduces the thought flow and calms the minds. A quiet mind increases our focus and makes the intellect sharper. Libra, September 23 to October 23. Till date, most of the fruits we have eaten are those from trees which we did not plant. Make this monsoon a time to pay it forward. Plant fruit trees in open spaces where they would not come in anyone's ways. Make seed balls, gift saplings, anything to pass on the gift of fruits. Scorpio, October 24 to November 21. How we begin the day decides much of how the day will work out. Develop a healthy morning routine that will get your day started on a high note with direction and purpose. See what needs to be done and change the way you wake up and start the day. Sagittarius, November 22 to December 21. Most of us naturally stretch out on waking up, but that may not be enough. Stretch your way to good health by spending at least a minute stretching every part of the body. If possible, do yoga. Yoga not only helps to stretch the body but increases blood flow and builds strength. Capricorn, December 22 to January 19. A few minutes each day spent by ourselves has the capacity to have a profound effect on our well being. Initially, the mind might wander and move far away from the present. That's okay. All we need to do is bring the mind back to the present. Aquarius, January 20 to February 18. A day begun with a sense of gratitude is a day well begun. If you can think of even one thing that you can be grateful for and you feel the gratitude from deep within, it will change the way you feel and think of the mundane, petty things will cease to bother or hurt you. This is February 19 to March 20. You have been feeling down lately. Time to take a pen and paper and become aware of your reasons for living. List all the people, places, things, and activities that you love. Next, think of ways you can deepen or express your love for each of these. There is no better pick me up than this. Laugh, laugh out loud. What's the best thing to put in a pie? A fork. What did the blanket say to the bed? Don't worry, I have got you covered. Why was the strawberry sad? His mother got into a jam. Hari Om. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj